Welcome neighbors to Miracle Farm 1927 Homestead. We're somewhere different today. We've never filmed being in our shop away from the farm, but that's where we're at today. And we welcome you all here, and we're going to show you a little bit what we do here, and we'll get on with it in a minute. Had a customer call us last week, and he had a 806 International, and she's run away with him. And like I say, the oil governor you got is in the pump itself. So I told him, I said it's got to be something about the governor, and it's got a flex ring. It's got a rubber flex ring in them originally.
You got a flex ring to show? There you can, so you can explain. So you can show what that does.
Here is the plastic or rubber flex ring, and it goes over these rivets right here.
Let's see. Oh, the basket's right there.
And here is the governor basket.
It has all them little weights inside of it.
And this sits down right here. You've got to get these on there, and they're a pistol to get on. And then this sets down on here, and its rivets would come through these slots right here. But if you'll notice, there is no rivets left in this basket. So what it had done, this had went away. It had just got gone. And it was sitting here like this right here.
There it is.
And the rivet was catching in these slots right here. But it's supposed to be mounted in that rubber, but it had been running, making contact in these slots right here, and it finally just yanked them out. And once it yanked them out, the governor was freestanding. It was not turning anymore, so it could not tell the pump to shut the metering valve off. She was just sitting here still, and nothing to turn the metering valve. Only the way he could shut it down was to push his throttle lever up.
Yeah, so kind of it works. You showed before, all these little weights sit in this basket, and in between these weights, this piece right here, what would you call this piece?
That's the governor sleeve.
The governor sleeve. So it actually sits in these weights, and your actual piece that I guess would be part of the metering valve, which actually works your throttle. Once you move this piece, your throttle shaft moves this piece right here, and it lets it come out and in. So when
go do this number here, and that's gonna.
So while these weights are spinning, they'll fling out.
It's going to do this number, and it's going to turn your metering valve.
Yeah.
And it's got, see, it's got a cam like on it, and when it turns that, it gets over a hole to let more fuel in.
So that basically gives you more RPM, and this weight basket works as a governor, which like on a gas burning motor for a tractor, this would be, we have a tractor in here, it's on the crankshaft. It actually works in and out, and it sends a rod to the carburetor to work RPM. This is just how it works in a diesel. It's all in one piece. So that was a pretty, we like something like that that shows us what exactly was wrong with this.
We like something broke.
Yeah, we like it broke. When we dig into something, it's really a pain to get into something you don't see anything broke. So anyway, this is the new piece.
This is the new piece. They've done away with the flex ring now. They have riveted the basket solid to the drive plate. There'll be no more flex ring problem with this.
So it just eliminates all your problem with that, because that's a real common thing. I built the one in my tractor, my pulling tractor, and that ring was gone, but my rivets were still intact. The pump works fine.
But it was driving against this right here.
But yeah, it'll just drive metal to metal. So I guess it's pretty good to get. I don't know. We ain't never tried it without one.
But anyway, this thing will get gone, and it just disintegrates. It gets in little bitty pieces, and it gets in the pump and stops it up. Most of the time, that's when you know this piece is bad, is when it's the pump quits pumping. And you tear it down, and it's got this material from this in it. I don't know how it dissolves it, but it just turns it into dust, kind of. You don't see very little of it. You'll see some little specks of it in the pump when you tear it down, but very little you'll ever find of this.
But anyway, that's what we're working on today. We're gonna get them back together, and hopefully we'll have a video later of this tractor running. So there you go. That's just an update of what me and Daddy do in the shop. We basically just work on old tractors. You see my tractors, I work on my own, but we also work on other people's. That's, like I said, what we do. But anyway, there's just a little tip for anybody that's dealing with an injection pump. Alright, here's that weight basket together. There's a little snap ring that holds it in, and so what happens is this piece has a washer underneath of it and goes in a notch under these weights, and if you can see, I'll pick up on that, them weights move out. So when them weights move out, that tells that the governor's telling it to give it less RPM. So the faster that moves, the more the weights swing out, so it lets it back off on the RPM, and this is what kind of works that. This piece right here, so it pushes in and out and everything like that. So when you want more RPM, it pushes down on this, which causes the weights to go back into the basket. So that's kind of how it works off RPM of the motor, because when the motor's spinning, obviously this is spinning. So what was happening, this wasn't spinning at all because it wasn't attached with these rivets. So this piece down here was attached, but this, the actual basket, wasn't attached. So when it was spinning the pump, it wasn't spinning this basket, which was keeping the weights from moving. So they just kind of stayed in and gave it more and more RPM. So anyway, there's it together. We'll see you. Alright, we're back at a farm today. Back with the Roostmaster injection pump. We got them all together. We got this little, we went ahead and put the, we didn't show this, but this is like an adapter. I think you can put like the big international pump on these tractors, the big Bosch, but this is like an adapter because this is a smaller tractor, so they put a Roostmaster. This was the smallest, one of the smallest 6-cylinder internationals. Besides the 706 is the smallest. This is an 806. So here he is. I'm not sure what year it is, but this is still a Farmall. This would have been replaced by the 856. So what cubic inch is this tractor, Daddy? I think 380 something. They're 80 horsepower. That's what the, if y'all didn't know that, it's an 806. So what that means is pretty much they're not, it's pretty close, but anyway, the first 2 or 3 numbers are the horsepower, and the last number is the number of cylinders. So it's 80 horsepower, 6 cylinders, which it's not exactly, but it's pretty close. So anyway, we got the, as you can see, there's where the pump goes, and we got all the lines wrapped up in tinfoil because we haven't been here in about a week because we had other stuff to do. So we wrap all our lines up so they don't get trash, or we have a bunch of dirt daubers and they'll get on it and get in those lines and clog those lines up, and that's a bad day. So we're going to go ahead and stick the pump on. We might show y'all a little bit of sticking the pump on and stuff like that. But we're just going to show y'all how it runs after. We didn't get a video of it running before when it was running away because we didn't want to run it. The guy cranked it up and it just revved wide open, and we didn't want to run it any, because we run it a little bit just to kind of see what it was doing, but we didn't ever let it run away. We just wanted to make sure something was actually going on. But anyway, so I didn't get that, but we will get it running after, and we're hoping it does good. We pretty much know it will, because we found a problem in that pump, as y'all saw, that broken weight basket, or those you know, broken pins out of that weight basket. But anyway, we're gonna stick him on there, and we're gonna see, fire this big boy up and let her run. Alright, we got him our pump on. Got our we had the main thing you gotta do on this is it's got a gear up here, and you gotta get your keyway lined up in the gear. If you have your shaft in right, it should be right. But anyway, here's your, I think you can see it, little timing marks. You see how those line up? So one of those is on the weight basket that we put in, and the new weight basket doesn't come with a timing mark. So Daddy actually put that on there freehand. He was telling me there are some people that have like a gauge or whatever, but he just kind of marked it on there, and it lined up pretty perfectly. I think y'all can see that. So that worked out good. We was worried it was a bit off because the gear was kind of in a bind, so it was like a little bit lower, but we wasn't worried about it. And then when we got the gear out of a bind, it lined perfectly up. So anyway, it's not focusing. That's nice. There it is. We got the pump on. We gotta get all our lines on and everything buttoned up and get it bled, and then we'll be ready to crank him up. Alright, we got the pump on and all the lines on. That was fun. They got a bunch of little there. Got little, like what'd you call them, a crush washer?
Teflon.
Teflon washer. You gotta get one. There's one in front of the nut and behind it, so it's kind of a pain to get on there, especially them back ones. So anyway, we're gonna try to, right now it's time to crank him. Today he's starting to bleed it. I'm gonna get up there on the seat and turn him over and see if we can get him to pop off. We're up here on the seat and ready to turn him over. Oh, has a button, I forgot. Alright. Gotta do some more bleeding on him. That's the hard part about a diesel. Worst part about it is when you drain the fuel out of the pump, you gotta get that fuel back up to them injectors, and they can't have any water bubbles. I don't know if I like this as much as a John Deere, because you got big old gaps in between you and the steps and everything. So I don't know if I quite like him as much as a big John Deere. So we're having a hard time getting fuel to it because it's gravity fed fuel. So Daddy's got him a syringe there full of diesel fuel, and that's why we're going to put that in the return line so we can try to fill up this pump. Yeah. It's hard to bleed these pumps anyway. we learned on my tractor, my 2640, my pulling tractor, I got a electric pump on it, and it's pretty easy because it's a push, the pump pushes fuel with an electric pump, and so that works pretty good, and I can get that tractor bled in just a few minutes. But this tractor, that gravity feed, is just really hard. I don't know. I don't know why such a big tractor would have gravity feed. I think all the John Deeres had like manual fuel pumps, but apparently this one's gravity feed. So anyway, just trying to get that pump full of fuel. So it's that pump was pretty thirsty. He put about, how many did you put in there? About 8 syringefuls. What happens is when the fuel gets to it, it gets in an airlock. So there's not, like I said, there's not really a way to bleed the pump itself for some reason. It's on the wrong side where the bleeder is. So he had to just manually put fuel in it. So hopefully that got most of the air out of it. So we'll see now. There's your crank. Got a little air in it still. Good run old tractor. Good run old tractor. Let's see. 2400 about 2500 RPM. I wish I had that muffler off there. Oh, you got a leak? Yeah. Alrighty. Well, she's running. We got a couple more leaks to figure out, but that'll be it. We'll see y'all later.